Hello there. Welcome to the Coach Craig Kenneth Show. I am your host, Coach Craig Kenneth.
And I'm your co-host, Coach Victoria.
And this is a caller-driven show where we like to talk about a lot of different things in life, relationships, mental health, dating, anything that you could want to talk about with a therapist.
We're open to any topic, most topics.
If you don't know who we are both therapists who have focused a lot on breakups, but we are trained in a lot of different areas, have a lot of knowledge and wisdom in a lot of areas. And so we're expanding the channel to talk about those different things.
Right. And we are excited to speak with you all about it.
So today we have a caller. We're going to call her Nikki, who is in her early 50s, who she's been struggling with understanding what's going on with herself. And the reason is she had a friend start to tell her that he has feelings for her, and she'd never seen him in that light before. So I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but let's get into this one. Nikki, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
All right. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, we have done coachings before a long time ago.
Yes, I did 2 with you and 2 with Margaret over an avoidant. We had an 8-year span, several breakups, but at least 10 to 15 breakups in all of those years. Yeah, it's been
And I think our last call was like, how many years ago?
Probably 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years.
It's been a while. I saw your picture and I remembered who you were. Usually if you do 2 calls with somebody, it really makes you remember them, right? And I remembered Avoidant Guy when I saw your face. I'm like, wait a minute, Avoidant Guy.
Severely avoidant.
Oh, you know, the thing is once you get a little bit of the details, your unconscious starts to pull it out. Yeah, it's like a filing cabinet in there. So you've been watching the show or the channel for a while.
A long time, yeah.
A long time. In fact, you even did some coachings with Margaret.
I did, yeah. She was fantastic. Loved her. Yeah.
She was awesome.
Yeah.
And that's why we keep her with us. We got her on our mug. So what's going on? Tell us about how we can help you. Tell us about your story, and let's just get into it.
Okay, so 3 years ago, I started dating an avoidant, not Mr. Trainwreck from our coachings, but a new avoidant. And he took me to a trivia night one night, and he introduced me to a female friend of his. So we can call her Sally.
Okay.
And so she and I became friends. We became fast friends. She was great. And although my relationship with that guy didn't work out, I remained friends with her. And eventually over time, she said, hey, why don't you become a regular with our team at trivia? He doesn't really come all that often. And I said, okay, well, I'll come, but you just have to make sure that he isn't there. I really don't want to be around him. He was awful to me at the end, just a lot of disrespect. And I told him off. I told him where he could go, how to get there, and what to do once he got there. It was a really bad breakup. But she was great. So I started going to trivia and I got to know the group, and it is an hour away. It's a long drive for me. It's an hour in rush hour. It's about 45-minute drive home later at night. So I don't really think it's a big deal. But so, just kind of getting to know the group, and Sally had mentioned, oh yeah, let's call him Bob, Bob in the group. I thought he and I had a chance at one point, and we went out kind of, he asked me out and I thought we were going to go out on a date, but it ended up being a group outing.
Oh.
And then she said, a week later, he announced that he had a new girlfriend. So she was pretty bummed about that. She kind of felt a little misled by him. I don't know if she was looking into it, but just knowing that my friend had feelings for this guy, and this guy had
sorry to interrupt, Bob is not your ex. Bob is just another trivia goer.
He's the trivia goer.
Okay.
So, so just knowing that he had a girlfriend and that my friends kind of had a crush on him, I'd never thought about having feelings for him. Not ever, not once. He was just someone fun to sit with and do trivia with. And so we got to know each other over the past year and a half, 2 years.
Okay. So like on weekly, you'd see each other at trivia night or something like that?
Yeah, once a week.
Okay.
So it's kind of hard to explain, but I was never part of the whole trivia text chain. I was outside the group. They switched to WhatsApp, and then she added me, and I said, well, you realize my ex-boyfriend, my ex-avoidant boyfriend is on this text chain. He's gonna know I'm on there. And she goes, honestly, I don't think he really cares. I'm like, oh, okay. So, and she said, look, you guys are two grown-ass adults. You need to figure your stuff out. You guys have been broken up for over 2 years now. You can figure it out. I'm like, okay, we'll figure it out. So we did end up seeing each other at trivia night a few months ago. It was back in May, and we saw each other for the first time. And it was a really
Did we
strange
give him a
experience.
name? We didn't give this one a name, right?
No.
Okay.
Let's call him Alex.
All right.
So Alex and I saw
Alex
each
is who
other.
I did the coachings with you.
No, that's Mr. Big.
Oh, okay. So Alex came after Mr. Big.
Yes.
Got
yes,
it.
he was the next avoidant. But I was more educated when I, was dating him, so I could see the signs sooner.
Yeah.
We still had a terrible breakup, but seeing him 2 years later at trivia sparked up old feelings, but he gave me a big hug and we said it was nice to see each other. Texting continued the week after. He reached out to me, he went on vacation, sent me photos, and and he sent me a week later. Okay, so he sent me a week of vacation photos. Then the next week at trivia, he didn't show up, but I was there.
Okay.
And he knew I was there. He could see me on the sign-up sheet. So he sent me a text while I was at trivia, and I got the holy grail of all text messages from the avoidant who dumped me. I got the apology.
Oh, wow.
Now we're talking about
Yeah.
Alex, correct?
From Alex, the avoidant ex.
Got it.
He
That's
Wow.
sent me just, pages and pages of, I'm sorry, I want to make it up to you, blah, blah, blah.
Pages. Wow.
Pages, yeah. I even let Sally read it. Like I was what's the word?
Flabbergasted.
Flabbergasted. So she couldn't believe it either.
Now, how long after? This is 2 years after the breakup?
Yeah, 2 years. 2.5 years, probably.
Wow.
So, we continued to have communication, not a lot. After that point, he kind of dropped off a little bit. A couple of weeks later, he did show up to trivia, and I made sure that I was looking really good, and because I knew he'd be there. And after trivia, he just left. He didn't even say goodbye to me. I was like, oh, okay, here we go again. But my anxiousness took over. I sent him a text on my drive home, and I was calm, but I said, I'm surprised that you didn't want to spend at least a few minutes with me. You said you wanted to make things right between us. I thought we could just talk since we have mutual friends. And he said, oh, I have work to do. I'm so sorry. I'll try to make it back in 2 weeks, and
He's got work to do, all right.
He has work to do. He has vacations to go on. He has lots of stuff to do. So he said, okay, not next week, but the week after. Well, that trivia night comes around and he doesn't show up, and he hasn't been back since, and it's been a couple of months.
Wow.
So I was really, so that when he was, the night that he blew me off after trivia, I was feeling really down. Like I was really down. And then I get a text later that night around midnight, and it's Bob.
Okay.
The
Avoidant number
guy.
3. Is this avoidant number 3?
This
I
might be
think he's
number one.
anxious. I think
Anxious
he's anxious
number 1. All right.
Yeah. Or
It's like a game
secure.
show.
Yeah, right. Bring it up. Anxious number 1.
He could be secure, but he's a smoker, so that makes me think he might be anxious. I don't know.
Interesting. Like a little self-soothing
Yeah.
cigarette
Exactly.
Well, I mean, I've noticed that, like, that you see a lot of people smoking, it's usually they're anxious.
habits. Yeah.
So he starts messaging me. He's like, you looked so great tonight. I really love sitting next to you. I really feel like I have really strong feelings for you. And I feel like really connected. And we just messaged for hours. And then he called me and we
Well,
talked
hang on.
bit.
When he sent you that message, what did you say and what were you thinking and feeling?
So I was I felt so flattered. And I told him that, I'm like, look, I really needed to hear that. And you really, brought my end to the night, like in a great way. And I didn't tell him why. He doesn't need to know why. Nobody in the group knows that my ex is also part of the group. So Sally's the only one that knows that. So we just don't want to make it a big deal.
Sure.
But I said, I'm really flattered. I'm a girl that will always take a compliment. I really appreciate it. And he just kind of kept going on and on about it. He's like, well, you know how pretty you are. And, but, people should tell you that. And you're just such a sweet person. And, I just really love sitting next to you and getting to know you. And then I was like, wait, what? So then the phone call ended. And then he would text me every night.
How did you feel though when he said that? Were you like, oh, like it was?
I was completely shocked because I didn't feel like we had really spent that much time together.
Yeah.
It's a group of 10 people. You can only talk to so many people within a 2.5 hour period. So,
sure.
And everyone in the group really likes him. He's really outgoing. And so I don't know. I mean, I was really flattered. I honestly didn't think that he looked at me in that light or really necessarily as a friend. I was really surprised, like really surprised.
Yeah.
So since then though, he makes it a point to sit next to me at trivia, and he's been sending me messages, and some of them have gotten a little hot and heavy, risque, but I don't play into it. I'm like, and I did tell him once, I said, look, I am the destination. I am not your detour. He knows that I know that he has a girlfriend. So why he
Whoa,
hold on. Hold on.
Wait a minute.
I don't think we heard that part of the story yet.
Yeah, so Sally had told me early on, she thought she was going out on a date with him. It ended up being a group night. But then he ended up announcing that a week later that he had a new girlfriend. So it's still the same girlfriend. I'm not sure how long they've been together, a year and a half.
Oh boy.
So he has a girlfriend.
Okay, so that changes the whole story.
Yeah.
Interesting. He might be anxious number one, but he's not available number one.
He's not available, exclamation point.
He's not available number 3.
That's why I'd never thought about him. Like I never thought to put myself out there to really get to know him, on a deeper level. Like he has a girlfriend. And my friends supposedly had a crush on him. So I'm not going to touch that.
But what I hear also is there's some barriers. So historically, you may have been drawn to those who are more avoidant. Here you have somebody who's coming off as anxious. Do we really know if he's anxious, or is he avoidant in his relationship with his girlfriend and anxious with other people that aren't his girlfriend, that aren't that kind of primary like person that he could be attached with?
Okay, so here's some gossip about the girlfriend that other people, I don't know why people like to tell the gossip.
Here.
We got tea.
So his best friend started to spill the tea.
Got tea here, that's good. We like the tea.
So he said, yeah, Bob and his girlfriend. I'm like, yeah, so what's up with the girlfriend? The girlfriend has never been to trivia in the 2 years that I've been going. And he said, yeah, basically all they do, they just have sex and they text message each other. And that's about it. That's their whole relationship.
Yeesh.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
And
when avoidance collide.
They're like, well, isn't that what a relationship is? Text and sex, sometimes sexting.
Yeah.
Wow.
And thinking back to last December 2024, Bob owns a local business he's extremely successful. So he threw a company Christmas party and he invited the trivia people. So we all went, and his girlfriend wasn't there. And so I asked his friend when we were sitting there, I'm like, why didn't Bob's girlfriend go to the Christmas party? And he's like, that's just the way she is. She doesn't like to socialize. She doesn't, I've hardly seen her. All they do is have sex and text. So, that is really, really odd. So fast forward to, I guess, just about a month or so ago, Bob's college-age son was in town.
Okay.
And he came to trivia. And so Bob said, hey, after trivia's over, let's go play pool. My son wants to go out and he wants to get to know you guys. So somehow Bob ended up in my car. So I drove, it was just the two of us in my car.
Okay.
I don't know if he made that happen or if it just happened. Again, at that time, I wasn't even thinking.
Yeah.
Because this was before he'd spilt his feelings.
Okay. Okay.
And so he was just asking me all these personal questions, and I started asking him questions. I'm like, so what's up with your girlfriend? She never comes to anything. I said, if I wasn't invited, I'd be pretty offended if I was your girlfriend. And he goes, well, I would actually like it if she did come. She just doesn't want to. And I'm like, same thing with the Christmas party. He said, yeah, she's pretty prickly. She doesn't like to socialize at all.
All right.
And I'm like, that
He
is
sounds
so
pretty
bizarre.
avoidant if he's
Right.
telling the truth.
If
Right.
he's, yeah. But he's so not, he's so outgoing and he's so kind of soulful and sends me poetry. And I'm like, why don't you send this to your girlfriend? And I don't think she's really into that. So.
Right. And I think this is something that would be helpful for a lot more relationships to talk about, is where do we draw the line here? Because it does sound like he's very social, outgoing, friendly, flirty. And how
Yeah.
far into the flirty can we get before it's okay, now we're crossing a boundary?
Well, he definitely, it sounded like he crossed the boundaries. You just weren't going to let him.
Right. So a
How
few weeks ago,
explicit did these messages get? X, R, PG-13?
PG, what's in between PG-13 and
X?
R?
PG-13 and R?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there is anything in between.
PG-17. PG-17.
Okay.
Okay.
So
That sounds like Basic Instinct. I think that movie was PG-17.
Really?
We may have tried to sneak in it when we were 16.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to tell this story. This is a true story.
Okay.
We did try to get into it. I think it was PG-17, and my idiot friend says, don't worry, we'll just sneak in. Right? So he's like, well, buy tickets. And I'm like, what are we going to buy tickets to? This is a true story. He says, fried green tomatoes. It was a movie with, oh my gosh, I can't even think. It was maybe, oh my gosh, who was in it? I can't even remember. Julia Roberts, maybe? Was she in it? I can't remember. It's been so long. Anyway, so he's like, so we're like, 2 for fried green tomatoes, please. You can imagine these 2 16-year-old, I think we were 16 at the time, guys. And then we're trying to go into Basic Instinct and they're checking everybody's ticket.
Oh.
So we couldn't get in and we had to watch Fried Green Tomatoes. Which is a movie probably for 60-year-old ladies. And I'm looking at him the whole time like, you idiot.
Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so it sounds like
Oh my gosh.
it sounds like it was somewhere in between fried green tomatoes and Basic Instinct. Got
We
it.
wanted Basic Instinct. We got fried green tomatoes. There was
Yeah.
an old man. I remember trying to eat peas and his hands were shaking so he couldn't eat it.
Oh
And I'm
man.
like looking at him like, what has he got us into?
You got into a chick flick.
Oh, it was awful.
Okay.
my
All right, so we're at PG-17, Basic Instinct.
Got it. Some
Yeah.
boundaries have probably been crossed in his relationship from the way that he's talking to you.
Yeah. So the night after those messages, right, a whole 24 hours later at 2:30 in the morning, he just sends me a message. He said, you realize this can't go anywhere. I'm like,
He said that to you?
he said
You're
that to
like,
me.
Other way
Like,
around.
yeah,
Did not
no
know this.
kidding.
Wow.
Like,
Okay.
oh, shocker.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah,
You're
I
like, is
get
this
it.
Bob's girlfriend? Because
Yeah.
Bob seems to think differently.
So, but of course he continues to text and, we're kindred spirits. And
Mixed messages.
I look forward to every Tuesday we get to see each other. And I'm like, okay. So that was a few weeks ago and he hasn't sent a message out to me since. And we've seen each other a few times at game night and there's definitely a connection there, but I feel like he drew me in when I wasn't even in that place. And now I'm there and I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do about these feelings. Like, I just kind of want to get over it. And, if he's ever single, maybe, but could I ever trust him? I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of things come to mind with this. First, I think avoidance can tend to come on strong in the beginning. Sometimes they can even come off as secure. Sometimes they can come off as that pursuer in the beginning, and you don't really think this is an avoidant person or could be. This seems like some kind of avoidance repackaged in emotional unavailability. That's what it seems like to me. There's a nice little bow on it of, okay, my girlfriend's not in game night. You don't really see her. So we don't really have to deal with that as like a present issue. And so I think it might be easier to feel more connected with him because of that.
Yeah.
And it's so flattering when somebody tells you that they are attracted to you and all your nice qualities, and here a little bit of love bombing, right? But
He love bombed me when I needed it the most, when I was
yeah.
jilted by the other ex. And yeah,
Yeah, sure. And then, you get all those chemicals released in your brain, and you're like addicted. You feel like you're a drug addict to this new person.
Yeah.
And
you had also brought up something earlier that I thought was interesting, the fact that Sally had showed interest in him, and also the fact that he had a girlfriend. So you're already kind of getting the picture of, okay, this is somebody that maybe I typically wouldn't go after or wouldn't desire, but other women are. Is there something to that?
Sure.
Is there something that they're picking up on that I'm not? And maybe there is an interest there.
yeah. If he was single, he'd be a great catch, but
would he though?
he isn't. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe he's just with the wrong person.
What makes him a great catch? He may be a great friend, he may be a great boss, he may be a great trivia guy, but it doesn't mean he's going to be a great partner. There's a big difference. And so that it can be very hard to understand that people can be great in a lot of different roles in your life, but not necessarily a great partner. It takes a whole different set of skills and abilities to be a great partner. And doesn't sound like, looking at anything he's doing, it doesn't sound like he's a great partner, right? He's clearly crossing boundaries on his girlfriend and trying to be explicit. I mean, how would you feel if you were with him and he was doing this with another woman? You'd be like
I'd be
devastated.
devastated.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So
I'm wondering if they got together. It sounds like they got together fairly recently after his divorce was final, and he was married for 20 something years.
Okay, so that's another huge red flag, right?
So I'm wondering if he kind of got in with her because she was, he got out of the marriage and it was a contemptuous divorce, and they both still run the business they built together. I guess it's not a great situation, but she was just good time, hey, just sex and texting. She was probably pretty easy. And that was one thing I mentioned to him when I had him in my car. When he got in my car and we drove over to go out, I said, wow, you locked down your girlfriend pretty soon after your divorce was final. And he said, well, I wouldn't really say I locked her down. So I don't know what that means either. Was he trying to backtrack, like, oh, our relationship isn't as serious as you think it is? Or
it's hard to say.
Yeah, and the problem here is you're only getting one perspective. You're only getting his side. I would love to hear what his girlfriend has to say about all this.
Yeah.
For her, maybe even hearing the comment of, their relationship is just sex and texting, she may or may not agree with that.
Yeah, she might say, what? It's only sex and texting because he won't come over and see me and he won't make this work.
Right.
Who knows what she would say?
So,
Either she's avoidant and doesn't want a lot of closeness, or she's frustrated because he's not really investing in her. Who knows which it is? But I would not necessarily trust any of the explanations he's giving you.
Right.
Maybe he didn't invite her to the Christmas party. Maybe he doesn't invite her to trivia and does it on purpose to not incorporate her in his life. So you don't know. You don't know. It's likely one of those two major things, right?
And I'll say there can be something a bit thrilling and exciting about somebody who's just barely attainable or potentially not attainable. there can be kind of like a chase of, oh, even if he does have a girlfriend, even if he does have other potential suitors, he's wanting to be around me. What that might feel like some kind of a attention, validation that might be nice here. So I don't blame you at all, especially with what you said about in the moment where you needed that the most is when he was kind of putting some of that attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what to do with these feelings. Should I stop going to trivia for a while and just let things kind of cool down?
Do you feel like it's hurting you to go? Is it keeping you more stuck?
A little bit.
Do you
A little
think
bit.
do you think it'll be easier for you to take a break? I mean, you could if you want to.
Oh, it's really easy for me to take a break. And looking at the sign up sheet for tonight's trivia, he actually is not going. And either is the other X or the X. So
That might be
I
your
don't
next.
know.
It's hard
So
when you're in a community of people because
yeah.
there's going to be all different sorts of things that happen. And to maintain, I know you have other friends in that community. So to maintain those friendships, sometimes that means being able to deal with some other uncomfortable situations with others. So if you're able to take a break and then revisit at a later time where you feel a little bit, more confident about your decision, you feel a little bit more clear-headed, that might be wise.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I think a lot of people have to learn to differentiate between the people that you can go out and have fun with and the people that you can learn to trust and attach to. We get so caught up in, oh, I like this person, they're attractive, I'm feeling physically attracted to them, there's a chemistry, and mistake that for that means we would be a good long-term fit. We have to work past that. You have to get past that. If you don't, you're just going to be drawn to anybody that you're attracted to and then wind up getting hurt because you're not looking at the red flags. You got to look at this guy. There's some red flags here. He's got a girlfriend. He's, come on pretty strong considering he did. Then he gives mixed messages. This could never be anything. Okay, then, but you're the one pursuing me. You're the one actively coming after me. And then you say it can't be anything. Like, this is immature. How old is this guy? He's in his 50s, right? It just goes to show he's also coming out of the divorce. Another red flag. Look at the other relationship that he's in, that he's choosing to stay in. That doesn't sound like a good relationship. You see all these signs of immaturity here that would tell me, okay, I might feel attracted to this person, but it doesn't mean they're going to be a good long fit. So we have to be able to distinguish those things in our life, and figure out. And even though we may feel those feelings for them, say, okay, if I can hang out with this person and not get attached and not think we're going to have a future, okay. But if I'm going to get hurt and I'm going to be obsessed about them and then, be in pain over the situation, just say, no, this isn't going to work for me. I got to head on down the road.
Right. And the irony of becoming attached to somebody who's emotionally unavailable or somebody who's more avoidant is that they make you then less available to other people who are actually available.
Exact. Great point.
There could be a night where somebody new signs up or where Sally introduces you to a whole new set of people.
And you're not paying attention to Larry because you're staring at Bob.
Right. So I think the idea of feeling an attraction or connection for somebody that you didn't think that would spark up in is one thing. If the other person is available and is showing you signs that they could be a good long-term fit versus having these feelings kind of spark up inside of you when that person isn't aligned with where you want to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I might take a break from trivia for a little bit and just kind of do a reset. And I don't know.
What do you think about all the strategies and ideas we've just talked about?
Yeah, I'll definitely implement them. And I mean, I watch you guys every single day, watch the same videos over and over and over. And I think that is so important because you can hear something once and you say, yeah, I totally agree with that. But you really have to listen over and over for it to really sink in and before you actually start practicing
Yeah.
what you're hearing. So.
Yeah.
It takes time. And I know if you tend to lean more anxious, then sometimes your brain can tell you whenever you feel connection, this is scarce. I have to hang on to this. This guy is being so loving and saying that we're kindred spirits. This is not something that you come by often, especially in this cold, heartless world that we live in. Just kidding. But our anxious mind will start to tell us that these things are scarce, so we hold on to them so much more, even if they're not, showing us things that are aligned with our values or, what we want and need for our lives. So now I understand the excitement. And it's also, you must be somewhat of a social person yourself to be going to trivia and wanting to be around people. So I can see that there's like similar characteristics where you think, oh, this could be a fun match, right? But I also hear what Craig is saying in terms of thinking about the long term here. There are certain things that you want, and it sounds like trust is a big deal for you. So.
And consider this, even if he was to say, I broke up with my girlfriend last week and, I was thinking maybe next week we could go out. You start going out with him and you're going to be like, how can I don't even trust this guy now. Like, I know what he's capable of. I know what he did. And now you're going to have a hard time really trusting him unless you see a lot of really transparent, sincere behaviors with maturity and wisdom and empathy and all these things that probably are beyond what he's capable of doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, there was one other thing I forgot to mention about the girlfriend. They had met in a yoga class. So she's some sort of an architect or a home designer. He hired her to remodel his house.
Oh.
So I think it's been under
It's
remodel.
like, start with the bedroom.
Yeah, right. So it isn't supposed to be finished up for a couple of more months. So I don't know. That doesn't really mean anything, but
I've heard of a lot of guys doing stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah, sure. Though I remember off the top of my head, a woman I was doing coaching with a couple months ago, that the guy hired this woman to help with marketing. But here's the crazy thing. His girlfriend worked in marketing and he hired another woman to help with marketing, even though that woman didn't know marketing.
Oh man.
When his girlfriend did. Guess who he's dating?
Somebody in marketing.
That one. One of the two. But the one that he hired for marketing that had no experience in marketing when his girlfriend knew marketing. So yeah.
Wow.
It reminds me of that.
Yeah.
So,
and can I just say, Yoga Place is a great place to meet women. To all you single men out there, go to a yoga class. You see exactly what you're getting, and you get a workout in too, right?
No surprises. Is that
no
what you're saying?
surprises in a yoga studio.
At least physically. When they start,
Yeah.
Doing some holistic approaches on you in your relationship, don't be surprised if they start to pour some lavender essential oil on you in your sleep.
That's funny. That's a great suggestion, though. I'm sure a lot of the guys are going to be like, huh? Yoga?
Namaste.
All right. Well, we really appreciate you being on with us today. And hopefully some of the tips and things that we talked about will really help you.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to say is it sounds like you're capable of having these kind of amicable relationships in the trivia group. So, I do appreciate you approaching this with the maturity to be able to say, okay, even if I do take a break, this is my community. You're an adult, you will be able to handle these, these things that come up to be able to maintain that community. So something positive I see. So thank you for sharing.
Sure. It was so much fun talking with you too.
Well, thank you again for being on the show with us.
All right.